He charged me with resisting arrest.
Get that confidence in jail.
I object.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Allegedly Bravo. I'm Cash.
And I'm Lauren.
And we're bringing you guys a special episode.
A very special episode called We Bare Our Souls.
We Bare Our Souls. Actually, it's really going to be Lauren bearing her soul. This episode is going to be all about the bar exam. We have gotten a lot of questions about the exam, what it looks like, kind of Lauren's study habits and the stress of it. And so we thought it'd be fun just to drop a little episode. And so Lauren gets to kind of, well, actually, I get to sit back and just ask the questions. You have to do all the dirty work.
Okay.
So I'm going to start off with some general questions just to give people an overview.
Okay.
Did you have something to say?
I was going to say, no offense, but are we both plugged into the correct microphones?
I already checked.
Okay.
I just checked.
Okay.
Okay. So first off, where are you taking the bar exam? What state?
California.
And so when is the California bar exam?
It's on. See, this is when I get confused because I know it's like the 27th and the 28th.
It is the 27th and 28th. And your mom is going to kill me for this, but your mom did text me and ask what day the bar exam was because she didn't want to have to ask you again.
And I'm telling everybody who's asked me, I've told you the wrong date. Like
Yeah.
I've not been consistent at all. The only thing I know is it's 27, 28, whatever day that's on. I don't know. I've been telling people Monday, Wednesday, I don't know.
Okay. So you said it's on the 27th and 28th. So It's a 2-day exam.
It's a 2-day exam. It used to be a 3-day exam. And thank God we jumped that boat. We took the first 2-day exam and this will be my 4th 2-day exam. It's not
okay.
funny.
So a lot of people want to know, how much does the exam cost?
That is a very complex question. So just to buy the exam itself, it's going to be like $830. And then you're going to need to make sure that you're covering also the fact that you need to use a computer. That is going to run you another like $125.
Oh, and that's your own computer, everybody. You're not getting a computer.
No, you're not getting a computer.
You have to pay to use your own laptop.
Correct.
So how much do you think it would be altogether?
Oh, altogether, with a bottom of the line study program, I would say you're out over $5,000, not including cost of living.
So what's a study program?
Usually you have like a Themis or Barbary or like one of these really big companies. Hold on. I just put a snack in my mouth. I know. One second. Oh, okay. So there's like all these programs that you can take that they try to shell out to you while you're in law school. That's there's all these different companies like Barbary and Themis and whatever the other ones are that I can't remember. And they basically give you everything that you would ever need to pass the bar exam, hundreds of past, essay questions, because the bar exam is made up of essays and multiple choice. So usually companies will sell to you a regimented program with structured essays and multiple choice.
So is it popular? So most people use a study program?
I would say in my experience, everybody that I've known has used a study program.
Are you using a study program this time?
This is the second time I've not used a study program.
Okay.
I hired a private tutor because I had used study programs in the past. And I hired a private tutor for the last time I took it. And then I just did kind of a mix of my own thing, the private tutor and a program.
Okay. So a hybrid.
Yeah. This time.
Okay. So earlier you said that there is multiple choice and essays. What does the overall structure of the exam look like?
So on whatever day the first day is, the 27th, we're going to show up and now that we're taking it remote, we're going to do it wherever we are that's remote. But like generally, you would go to like a huge conference center or something, and you take 5 essay questions the first day, which are like, there's like 14 different areas of law 14 to 16 different areas of law that you can be questioned on in regards to essays. And they'll give you like a little story, and they'll be like, say all this random shit that happened to this random person. And then they'll be like, what claims can they bring? And then
how long are the essay questions?
You only get an hour.
No, like what is the length? Because when you're saying essay question, people think back to high school or undergrad where you had a paragraph.
So like
the actual.
Yeah. So you'll get like an entire 8.5 by 11 like story about what happened to this person. And it'll be so insane. Like the stories that they give you are crazy. What?
Single spaced.
12-point font, like
1-inch margin.
1-inch margin, and you're just like, you open it up and you go fuck. And then if you open it up and your paragraph is 4 lines of text, your butthole better be puckering, and you're probably on your way like to your first panic attack of the bar exam.
And why is that?
Because if you have no information, you are so fucked. You better have the most heavy analysis anyone has ever seen in their life. It's just crazy, you guys. Like, don't go to law school.
Don't do it, you guys. It is really triggering for me listening to you talk
sorry.
about it.
I don't mean to do that. I'm sorry that my existence does that. I'm sorry.
No, it just gives me, it's that pit-inducing anxiety.
It's so much anxiety. Like,
it's just that scale, like your stomach hurts, you know?
Yeah, I do know.
Okay, so another question that actually my sister asked.
Oh, okay.
She wanted to know how many times you can take the bar exam.
Infinity.
Mm-hmm.
It's really as many times as you can take the bar exam.
Yeah, and however much money you have to be able
exactly. And I'm telling you right now, this is financially, mentally, physically, and emotionally the last time I can take the bar exam.
So you can take it an infinity amount of times.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my God, I'm so stupid. An infinite amount of times.
Yeah.
You guys, it's Friday. It's almost 10 o'clock. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you can take it an infinite amount of times. How many times can you take it per year? Like, can you take it every month?
No, it's only offered twice per year. So you can only take it like in February or in July.
Okay. So then you're taking it in July. So then when do you get your results? Immediately?
No, hell no. You think that they're going to give us anything easy? We don't get our results until like November 16th. So like, I'm going to take the test at like the end of July and literally have chronic diarrhea and IBS symptoms all the way up until and through November 16th.
You guys, I actually can't even articulate how nerve-wracking that day is when you check your results.
Oh my God. So when Cash and I took the exam the first time, Cash's only time, my first time, we decided it would be super good and fun. And it really was to check our results at the same exact time on the phone with each other. And in doing so, Cash passed and I failed. And you want to talk about a dynamic conversation?
I don't remember it.
Oh, well, that's really nice. I do remember it. I was like, I'm so happy for you. And then I drank a bottle of like bullet bourbon and who knows what you did, probably a champagne.
No, I couldn't sleep because we got our results at 6 o'clock that night, but it actually took like 45 minutes for us to be able to log in because the system crashed.
Yeah.
And during the bar exam, you don't have a name. You go by a numerical code.
Uh-huh.
So they had to upload our results. Normally it would come up into like this portal and say, your name appears on the pass list or your name does not appear on the pass list. And so we were all waiting for that, but the system crashed. And so what they did is they uploaded a PDF and we had to like cross-reference this numerical code.
That was so upsetting.
Yeah, but I didn't sleep after because I was freaking out. It was just like euphoric feeling.
I can't wait to feel that. I got wasted and watched House Bunny.
Great movie.
It is a great movie.
Okay, so you kind of talked about it briefly. You said that the bar exam looks different. It used to be 3 days and now it's only 2. What does the bar exam look like now in the middle of a pandemic?
Oh my God. Talk about a triggering experience, because when I took the bar exam also last summer, and it was supposed to be the same time, like the end of July. But of course it was, the craziest pandemic we've ever seen. And so nobody could gather in groups. So we couldn't take the bar exam. And that's when we all found out that it had to be remote. And it was a little crazy because they didn't really have the technology to like make it fully remote. So our bar exam was different than like everybody else's bar exam. And like they had just petitioned to like change all the pass rates. And it was just the most chaotic energy surrounding something large. Like I couldn't cope. But now it's like we take it on the computer. You have this program called like Exemplify or ExamSoft. And basically you log in, you have to put in the passcode for the certain exam. You are fully locked out of your computer. Like you can't access any part of your computer. And it's like, it's filming you and screen recording your every move.
And why are they doing that?
To make sure you're not cheating. So like whenever I'm going to go take the exam, like, which I'm going to take at my boyfriend's house because he has Google Fiber and like, that's like super great internet. I'm going to sit there, and while I'm taking that exam, like it's going to be video recording, like as if I'm on FaceTime.
That's so stressful.
It's so stressful because it's like, like you do weird things when you're focusing, like the weirdest things, like you'll play with your hair. Like maybe you'll like pick at a zit or something, like,
or just stare off into space or look up at the ceiling. Those are natural movements you make when you're trying to collect your thoughts, or if you're in a high pressure environment.
Oh my God.
I look around the room. Like when I take tests, I remember taking the bar exam and literally like looking at the proctors, looking up at the ceiling, looking at
So I've had to practice
rely on artificial intelligence as well.
Oh my God, it's so bad. And it's like, I've had to practice, and like, this is a whole nother level, is like, I've practiced taking my exams where like now if I'm thinking, instead of, cause I'm a ceiling looker, like I'll look up and like talk, I'll have to close my eyes and try not to move my mouth. So I have to like practice doing my essays, like instead of visualizing, like, not to toot my own horn, but like that girl from the chess show on Netflix where she looks at the ceiling and plays chess. Like I will like look up and like try to picture my notes. But now that I'm being literally looked at in the face, I've practiced closing my eyes while I think, so that it doesn't like trigger anything.
So what happens when the AI, the artificial intelligence, is watching you? Does it flag it immediately? Does it shut ExamSoft down? Like what happens?
You don't even know if you got flagged or not until after you've submitted everything. I think someone at your office, weren't they flagged?
Yes, a girl. By the way, you guys, I'm so sorry for the way that I'm asking questions. I'm asking questions as though I don't know anything. So bear with me.
Yeah, none of us know.
Yeah, one of the law clerks, when I was working at the DA's office, she was flagged for suspicious movements or something. She actually hired an attorney to help fight or appeal the decision, and she ended up passing the bar, and I don't think anything ever came of it, but she had to exhaust another $1,200 to hire this attorney because it was the first time that they had ever done something like this. So it was so brand new. Nobody had any idea how to navigate it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this time around. And I would like to know if anybody who was flagged, if that was upheld, that decision was upheld, and like what happens. Are you able to sit again for the bar?
I'm curious too, because the
It's
last
an
time
ethical issue.
The last time I checked, the ACLU was actually like opening a case against it because it's like a lot of the AI things weren't like, they were very like racially profiling just because of how the AI machine was trained. And it's like, that's fucked up. Like a lot of people who like had religious head coverings, like because the AI wasn't like trained with that or whatever, like they were flagged for cheating. So it's like you have all these minority groups that are being looked dead in the eye while they're taking this exam. And it's like, I would like to know, like, I would love to know if you or someone you know was flagged for cheating on the bar. Like, I want to know the story for real.
It sounds like an asbestos commercial. Like if you or anybody you know was exposed. That's
mesothelioma.
Okay, so besides studying,
wait, I'm sorry. Can I say something really quick?
Sure.
Have you heard any of the commercials? Do you not get Kiss FM where you live?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I don't listen to the radio.
Well, there's a bunch of commercials and billboards, at least down here. I live in Orange County, for this attorney called Sweet James something.
No.
Okay. It's like at almost every third billboard in LA, all over Orange County, all the commercials on all the radio stations are for Sweet James. Well, our newest Orange County housewives' husband is Sweet James. And allegedly, according to Instagram, which is so not responsible in their reporting, these people owe like over $8 million to the government in unpaid taxes, allegedly.
We might need to cut that out.
Well, it's like all up on the internet. But anyway, so that's what we're getting into.
Okay, so now moving on. So you went to law school, studied. Do you then just take the bar exam, pass, and you're done? Or are there other components that come with becoming an attorney?
Of course not. You're never just do something and you're done. Like,
not in the state of California.
No. The state of California and the California Bar Association and literally anything that is bureaucratic wants to just rope you in. So no, you have to pass the moral character and fitness application, which literally you have to submit a live scan, like your stem cells from like your umbilical cord. You have to like
a hair sample,
like shit in a box and mail it a la Cologuard, which is a whole nother issue we need to talk about later. Like you have to do so much like to end up there and like take a whole exam on the ethics and responsibilities. And it costs a lot of money.
Okay. So have you done your moral character and fitness?
Oh my God. That's a good question. So I didn't take it in law school, which is a controversial stance.
No, moral character and fitness, not MPRE.
Oh, so yes, I did submit my moral character and fitness. I was asked because I had defaulted on a student loan payment from undergraduate, like years beforehand. I had to submit like my full, like 100-page credit report and like literally spread my ass cheeks for these people to look at and determine that my character was okay enough to like take this test. That expires after a certain time.
Yeah.
So mine's expired.
Oh, okay. So you have to redo it.
Yeah. So I did pass, but now I have to redo it.
Oy.
And then with the MPRE, which is the ethics exam, you have to pass it before you can practice law. And most people take it in law school, but I didn't because I didn't have a strong feeling that I was going to pass the first time, which like, I guess I was correct. That expires as well. Well, when I signed up for the MPRE, that was the day we all got sent home to get locked down. Like,
that's right.
Yeah. So we all got sent home, like, you know, I forget even what day of the week it was, but that
for us was the March 17th.
And then the next day, it was like that's Friday because I remember requesting it off work was the day that we were supposed to take the MPRE. And then I had to decide at that moment, like, do I go take the MPRE and risk my health? or do I skip the MPRE and risk my profession? And I picked my profession. I didn't go.
Wow.
I know.
Well, you know how I feel about the MPRE. Just a story, a little anecdotal segue. Yeah. I had signed up or was getting ready to, I took the bar and I thought, okay, I'm going to take the MPRE after the bar exam. I didn't sign up for it, but I thought, okay, after the bar, generally in August, I feel like there's going to be more vacancies than there would have been in March. So I'm going to be fine. I went to go sign up for it. Sold out. Could not get a spot, could not sign up for it. And I thought, okay, whatever, it's a sign. I don't think I passed the bar exam because my computer crashed during the exam. That's a whole nother story. So I had kind of just brushed it aside and I was like, I'll take it.
That was crazy.
Yeah, I was like, I'll take it. I'll take it again in whenever. Then I passed the bar and I wasn't able to practice law because I didn't have my MPRE. I had done my moral character and fitness. So I had to wait until March to take the MPRE, did that. And then I finally was sworn in May. But that is why I believe you should take it your first semester of your 3L year. Take it.
Right.
If you don't pass it, you can then take it again your second semester of your 3L year. Get that out of the way. Don't have to worry about it for another couple years because I think it expires too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It does in 2 years.
And then they collect more money from you and you have to buy more shit.
It's an arm and a leg. It's an arm and a leg.
It is. It's expensive. But so now that we have like a general idea about the bar exam, I kind of want to get into more specifics about what your experience has been like. What is different? Because you had mentioned you've taken the bar exam before.
Yeah.
So what number is this, first of all?
4.
Okay. What is different this time around?
Okay. So personally, I just feel a little bit more confident. Like I feel like I have the time to put in the effort that I need to put in. Like people suggest not working and only studying for like 2.5 months, which I did for the first time. But you know, for personal reasons, I wasn't at 100% like capacity mentally. And then, you know, just like the second time and the third time were just like one thing after another. Like the third time was the major pandemic and the first remote bar exam. And the second time I was like kind of by myself, but you did come down and like help me. And that was cool. This time I feel like I know what I'm getting into. I know how to take a remote bar exam. I have all this time to study and I just feel like a little bit more confident and I have this like world presence about myself because I'm like so cultured and worldly that like
got it. Okay, Dorit.
Oh, okay.
Child of the world. So that was my kind of segues into my next question is how are you able to remain confident throughout the process?
Oh, I mean, that's all fake. Like I haven't remained confident through the process at all. I have probably had by myself without anyone knowing like 8 to 10 mental breakdowns this week. And then with people knowing like 3, you know what I mean? So it's like, no, you're not okay. No, you can't handle it. No, you're not coping well. And you can start thinking about it on Thursday night.
It's not funny, but it's just, I feel what you're going through. And I just remember being there. And you guys, it is for people that don't have anybody in the legal field, don't have anyone that's an attorney in their family. And this is like all brand new to them. Just know that this is such a dark period of somebody's life. And it is so mentally exhausting. And it's just hard to get through. It really is.
Let me place some perspective. So Thursday night, I'm peacefully sleeping. I'm resting casually. I've been asleep for a couple hours. I wake up, panic, throw up, panic again, go back to sleep.
Okay, so
that's once a week.
So my next question was, Do you have days where you doubt yourself?
Okay. I would say 7 out of 7 days of the week, I doubt myself. I mean, it's really hard not to. Well, I would say most of the time, yeah, I doubt myself. I mean, I think it's normal. Like, I would actually love to meet someone who doesn't doubt themselves because I have a couple of questions, but it's like, like you look at all this stuff that you need to know and that you need to be able to recall. And I'm sorry, but if you're not feeling daunted by all of this information and the level of expertise you're, required to show and have some respect for the information you have to put on the page, like, you don't deserve to be an attorney. I'm sorry. Like, you need to have one panic attack at least minimum to be admitted to the bar.
That should be a requirement on the moral character and fitness.
Exactly.
Okay. So how do you keep so if you have these days of self-doubt, how do you stay motivated to keep going?
So the last time I took the exam, I obviously failed it because here I am again. Here you are again. And I literally failed it by 1.5 multiple choice questions.
And we're going to get into that a little later because I have a more specific question focusing on that. So you know
that anybody who knows me knows that I don't take well to authoritarianism. And I really don't take well to someone telling me that I'm wrong. And so if somebody tells me that I'm wrong 1.5 times out of 100, I get really mad. And so that is the fuel that I use to like make sure that I know 1.5 fucking more answers than I did last time so that I never have to take this again, because I will not allow somebody who wrote one question of one exam have any power over me.
Good for you.
Thank you.
So what does an average study day look like for you? And how many days a week are you studying?
Okay, this is a really good question. So I think this changes depending on where you are in your life. So like where I am right now is, unfortunately, I am unemployed, really upsettingly. And I have a lot of time on my hands after like applying for jobs and everything. So right now, my study habits are I wake up at 6:45 naturally and against my own will. And then I have a coffee and I'll like do my personal things, my watching TV that I haven't caught up on and running my errands, like going to Target, like applying for jobs, like all that stuff I do in the morning up until about like 11:30. And then that's when I just like straight up, I put my phone on do not disturb and I just completely start studying. And I'll do that until it's time to go to bed.
Wow. So what would you,
after midnight,
what would you say is the hardest part about studying?
Honestly, it's like the part where when you do something and you don't do it right, and it's hard to do it the second time because you did a bad job the first time. Mm-hmm. It's doing that over and over and over and
having
to
remotivate yourself.
Yeah, it's like so hard to like, because there's some days where you just like can't really function that great. And I'll sit down and do some multiple choice questions on the program that like tracks it and all this stuff. And I'll be like, I got 20% right. Like that is embarrassing. And then sometimes it'll be like, I got 85% correct. Like, is this a joke? So it's like the ups and the downs and the self-motivating to know that like, even though you have the 20% days, you'll have the 85% days.
Yeah. What is the percent you need to pass for multiple choice? Like what's the average?
65, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So then what would you say is the easiest part about studying?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm trying to think, and like honestly, nothing.
I don't think there's an answer.
Because I was even gonna say like maybe reading over essay questions and like past essays, because that's more passive than active. But even that, really is hard.
I was going to say maybe decorating your flashcards.
God, but then your hand hurts and sometimes
I know.
you smudge and you have to find the right marker. So I don't even know if that's.
Remember flashcards?
Yeah, I'm very familiar.
I used to have hundreds. You guys, stacks.
Oh my God. I still have them there. I have like hundreds of fat flashcards individually baggied by subject.
So what would you say is your favorite and least favorite subject to study?
1,000,000% my least favorite subject to study is criminal procedure, which is basically like going through your constitutional rights regarding arrest and detainment and searches and seizures. I literally hate it so much. It is difficult and I'm uninterested, which isn't a positive emotion. And my most favorite, I would say, is now I'm looking at all my notes on the wall. I would say evidence, I think, is my most positive subject at the moment.
It's so funny because those two are used so frequently together.
I know, but it's like the thing about Crim Pro is like criminal procedure is the essays are so hard and so
they are
convoluted that it's like, I don't want to know this because it's so hard that like you have to be an expert at it to even know what to talk about. Whereas evidence is like, there are very much hard and fast rules, but you have a little more room.
So when you make reference to the essay questions, is it when you get an essay, is it essay 1, evidence? Essay 2, like it tells you what the topic is. Is it one topic or are there multiple topics in one essay? How does that work?
So there's a bunch of different topics that are covered on the bar exam. Like to name a few are your crimes, which are trigger warning, murder in the first degree, involuntary manslaughter, like burglary, robbery, rape, etc. Crim Pro, which is like your Fourth Amendment rights, your Fifth Amendment rights, your Sixth Amendment rights, like all the things that happen to you like in a criminal proceeding. And then you have civil procedure, which is all the stuff that happens to you or that can happen in a civil proceeding, which means you're not going to like prison. The government isn't suing you, a person suing you. And then you have like constitutional law, evidence, property, torts, contracts, wills and trusts, like all this stuff, like community property, etc.
I'm falling asleep over here.
I know, it's so boring. So you can get an essay that's about like crimes and evidence. And they're not going to tell you, like the header is going to say like question 4. And then it's going to be like, Anna was skiing down a hill at 45 miles an hour. And she had never been skiing before. And then she opened up a can of tuna that she got at the Dented Tin store. And at the Dented Tin store, she caught botulism. And then when she flew down the hill, she started spreading the botulism everywhere. And then she crashed into Dan. And
you guys, this is, I kid you not, 100% accurate of what a bar exam looks like.
It's crazy. And then Dan was smoking a cigarette. He dropped a cigarette. It caught on fire. The wind picked up. The wind blew and it hit Victor's house. Victor's house caught on fire and his daughter died. What claims can Sarah bring? Who the fuck is Sarah? Who the fuck is Sarah?
Oh my God, that is hilarious. That is so funny.
Yeah.
Okay, I have 2 last questions for you.
Okay.
What is one thing you've learned about yourself throughout this process?
Oh my God, this is a great question. So, really and honestly and truly, I have learned that it feels like, God, I don't even think I can make this reference anymore, but Kimmy Schmidt, where she's like, in her bunker and she goes, anybody can do a hard thing for 10 seconds at a time. And she like does the gear for 10 seconds at a time. Like that's how I feel studying for the bar. Like anything I can do for 10 more minutes.
Yeah.
And so
you sound like a Peloton instructor.
Thank you. Call me Cody Rigsby. But every single time, like I'm ready to quit, I just keep thinking to myself, like, it will only do me good to do one more question or read one more sentence.
Yeah.
Even if I don't feel like it's doing me good, I can do it and then be done.
So it sounds like you've developed some self-confidence.
And boundaries too.
Good for you.
Thank you.
So, last question. The big one.
Uh-oh.
How are you feeling about going into the exam next week? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being fabulous, 1 being I don't want to go.
A -4. I don't want to go. My heels are dragged in. I'm scared. But that being said, I've worked my ass off for way too many years to not go. While this sucks so hard and learning all this stuff and memorizing this stuff is really difficult, I owe it to myself to show up and give it 100%.
What would you say to somebody that is contemplating going to law school, or even somebody that's getting ready to take the bar exam?
So I'll just talk about it like as if I'm giving younger me advice.
Okay.
I would say, like, listen, I totally hear you and I see you and I respect you. And yes, you are good at arguing. That's true.
Sorry, that was an ad on my phone.
Oh, that I couldn't hear it.
Okay.
So it's like, yes, you're good at arguing, you're good at fighting, you're good at debating. That does not make a good attorney.
That's all great and cute.
It's all great and cute. That does not make a good law student. So I would say if I could tell my younger self anything, it would be, I would suggest that I would find somebody who is actively in law school or studying for the bar or fresh out of the bar or really far out of the bar, and just like have a lunch with them and really ask them questions that you want to know and be open to listening to what they have to say.
I agree.
I wish I did that more because I went through thinking that it was all going to be Elle Woods and hunky dory.
Yeah, I think people have a glamorized perception of the legal field and it's like romanticized, and it's the complete opposite of what you see on television, and the work and the effort that goes into it is completely different than what you see on TV. And so for anybody out there that wants to go to law school, I would recommend going to, maybe if you live in a big city, calling the admin office and seeing of a law school and seeing if you can set up a tour, seeing if you can
go to an alumni event.
Yeah, sit in on a class, go to an alumni event. And that way you can kind of make friends with the admissions team, but you can also make friends with students. I mean, hello, look at us. We love talking about ourselves. Like law students.
Oh, yeah.
They love themselves. They're very, very, very egotistical. So I'm sure you could find one that would be more than happy to talk your ear off. But I think that's a great way too, is like getting in the classroom and seeing what class looks like, seeing the books that you have to read. Like it's so dense and it's so slow.
And
at
it's
times,
not
and
like
it's hard.
Anything you've ever seen. Like breaking down a case and briefing a case is incredibly difficult. I know, me too. I just got the chills as well.
That's fine. Chill. Okay, so now we have our fun questions from some of our listeners.
Ooh, okay.
This one is so sweet, and I just feel for this girl. I'm also not going to say any of the names just to protect, people's identity. But
yeah,
this girl says, I failed by 5 points my first time. Any advice on boosting confidence?
So I feel you so hard. I think that is failing by less points than I failed by last time. And I failed by 1.5 multiple choice questions. So I think failing by 1 is just like even more painful. Yeah. I would say, here's what I have to say. You have worked so hard and you have put in so much effort and you have learned so much that you owe it to yourself to fucking put your entire being into these 2 days. And then after that, or into this specified amount of time. And then after that, you never have to think about it again. I promise you, I feel you. There's nothing more embarrassing than it. Personally, I feel like there's nothing more embarrassing than failing and then having to tell everybody you failed and then having to muster up the confidence to like sit down again and be like, this thing fucking kicked my ass and now I'm going to do it again and I'm going to pay to do it again. Like
and to not spiral too, like knowing that you failed something you worked so hard for, like you said, then having to tell your family and friends you failed, but then having to muster up the courage to sit down and put your head down and sit through an exam knowing that you failed it before. Like having that mental endurance is, I think it speaks volumes. And I've told you this multiple times. I have friends and colleagues who have failed the bar 4 to 5 times, who are the smartest, most genuine, most competent attorneys I've been around.
Yeah.
And so it takes some people 1 to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times more than another person, but don't compare yourself to others. Everybody has a different track, a different trajectory on life. You remain confident, remain focused, and write down your goals. I think Lauren and I are firm believers in that, writing down your goals, manifesting, just putting it out into the universe and making it a constant daily reminder of this, what you want to do. You want to pass the bar. Wake up in the morning, write it on your mirror. Remind yourself how great you are and that you're capable. And I know Lauren and I believe in you. So you should believe in you.
Yes. Are you kidding? Anybody who literally goes through law school, you have the power and the brains and the smartness to sit through this exam and pass it.
Agreed. Okay. Now moving on. These two there's 3 that really make me laugh out loud.
Okay.
This one is so funny. Do you have to do all the reading?
Yes. Oh, I just got nauseous.
You have to read because of the anxiety that you carry with you throughout law school, knowing that if you don't read a paragraph, that one paragraph is what your professor is going to reference in class, and he's going to call you out and make you brief the case to the class and point out that paragraph that you didn't know, you know nothing about. So it's like, you can't skip out ever. You got to read it all.
So let me just add a little perspective here with a personal anecdote. As a student, I was fucking broke. So I used an old version of the contracts book. I used, what do they call it? Editions.
Yeah.
Edition 11. Okay. Well, the assigned reading was assigned to edition 12. But I'm sitting here thinking, they never fucking change it. I mean, my God, this is the law. Like, this case is from 19.
The law never changes.
The law never changes. This case is from 1912. Like, we're fine. The law changes every day, and so do the pages of the book, because I read the assigned pages 100 to 150, and I start briefing the case on page 100, like I was called upon to do. And I had read the wrong case because the page numbers were off because I had the wrong edition. And the professor stopped me and marked me absent for being unprepared and, quote, "You might as well have not even come." And I was like, thank you. So yes, you have to do the reading.
Please, everyone, do the reading.
Do the reading.
You don't want to be embarrassed.
No, you don't want to be absent for a class you just sat through.
And studied 4 hours for.
Exactly.
Okay, next question. What is the vibe of a group project? This is more of a law school question, because if you're studying in a group for the bar exam, I mean, God rest your soul.
If you're studying in a group for the bar exam, like, you need therapy there, and we all need therapy. You need extra, like, you need to go 4 times a week, like, minimum, because that's insane. But like,
it's one of the craziest things I've ever heard.
Literally, I'll tell you I will tell you a group project story. I was in this class called Civil Procedure. We just talked about it. It's tested on the bar exam. And the project we had was to get in a group of 3, and we had to write a complaint that was the 3 little pigs suing the big bad wolf for destruction of property, for huffing and puffing and blowing all of their houses down. And I was in a group. There were 2 boys in the group and me. And we're using my computer, drafting the complaint, doing all this stuff. And then we go to print it. And one of the boys tells me that it is my job to go get the printed paper off of the printer. And I go, no, you can go get it, but like, I'm not going to go do that. I'm going to go a little busy. And he goes, no, you go get the printer paper off the printer. And I go, what the fuck? Like, what's your deal?
Your fucking mom?
Yeah. And he's like, no, you're the girl. You go get the printer off of the printer paper. That's a girl's job.
What a chauvinistic pig.
You bet your fucking ass. I go, okay. I go tell the teacher exactly what happened. Cause yeah, call me a fucking narc. All right. Call me a narc, but you would have narc too. I fucking narked so hard. And then I turned it in by myself. But I will say I remain friends with that boy to this day.
So what we're going to say is, the vibe of a group project, it just ain't it, know?
It just ain't it. Does it feel chauvinistic? Because then you're probably in a law school group project.
And that's that on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This kind of goes back to our moral character and fitness, what we were talking about. Can you become an attorney if you have a felony on your record?
Oh, that's a good question.
This is really interesting. And I definitely know people that have been arrested and charged and have criminal charges on their record. The one I really, really know of was a juvenile. He was actually a public defender that I worked with. And he had a really cool background and a really great story. Was involved heavily in gang activity and was arrested and faced jail time, prison time, and then came out and was able to become an attorney.
Wow.
But I think that you can, right? I think it really depends on the level of felony, because
I have a close personal friend who actually had a felony for receiving money while on unemployment.
See, that's the thing. Is it embezzlement? Is it petty theft? Is it petty theft? Is it?
I mean, I've had
felon in possession. You had a drug problem.
Right.
There's so many different levels in felonious behavior that I think that you have to petition, though. That's for sure. If you have a felony, you can go to law school.
They have a whole hearing on it. And I have another friend who was in trouble for stealing mail, and they got to actually sit for the bar exam, and they're a bar attorney now.
So you have to, when we went to law school, you have to divulge any arrest, any ticket you've had, and they vet you when you go into law school. And I know a lot of people that have had to sit down in front of a panel to talk to them about why they want to be attorney, why they should be accepted, blah, blah, blah. So that's one portion. But with the moral character and fitness, it's like what Lauren said with her defaulted student loan payment.
Mm-hmm.
What she had to do for that one defaulted payment, think about if you have an arrest and a conviction on your record. It's going to be a long, 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 long process.
I literally can't imagine.
And so, yeah, it will take you a lot longer, and you just have to be able to articulate why. And I think you've had to have done a lot to overcome that felony. Let's just say that.
Yeah. And you have to really show what you've done, based on my experience with just hey, you defaulted on a student loan payment that you never signed a promissory note for, a story for a different time, whatever. But you have to really, it's literally spread your cheeks. It's literally spread your cheeks.
You better have, after you got arrested on a felony and charged and convicted, you better have been down at the local shelter volunteering your time and working with at-risk youth.
Yep.
So, yeah. But yeah,
you better be on the table dancing for fucking Andy at this point.
Amen. Okay, our last question.
Oh.
How does the legal community feel about people like Kim Kardashian trying to become a lawyer without going to law school?
Wow. This is going to be something that I really say is a 50-50 split.
I do. So I have two separate opinions about this question.
Okay.
So I have no ill will or negative thoughts towards anybody that's deciding to go to law school in a unconventional route, because it takes just as much time, if not more, a lot of dedication. You have to do the baby bar. Generally, people that are doing this are working full time, and then they're doing the apprenticeship under the guidance of an attorney. And so it's a lot, and it doesn't take 3 years. I think it takes 4 years. And so I really commend people that try to do it that route and are actually able to pass the bar. Now, my thoughts on Kim Kardashian becoming an attorney. I really love what she does for criminal justice reform. I think it's very powerful, but I think that she's using her platform right now. I don't think she's educated enough to be doing what she's doing.
So,
and that's like very, and I should clarify, because I think what she's done when she's free, when she's with criminal justice reform and freeing people that have been wrongly convicted, 100% stand by that. Absolutely. Innocence Project, amazing organization. But I have problems with what she's been doing in the state of California and the bills that she's been standing behind and pushing through that are going to have detrimental effects on the state. So
I don't know what you're talking about, because I've been staring at the same wall for weeks in regards to the bills that she's standing behind. But here's what I'll say. I'm a millennial. I grew up with Kim Kardashian. My opinion on the fact that, like, I don't fucking care how you get to be an attorney as long as you are a good one when you're practicing. That being said, I've worked with a lot of like older attorneys who are very by the book and very old school and strict and black letter law, that they're like very anti this way of becoming an attorney. And I think that's just a personal preference at that point.
Yeah. And there's actually so when Lauren was talking about COVID and how COVID impacted the bar exam, the state bar really reevaluated how they were operating and how they were what would that be called? Not barring people, but how they were oh my God, I'm having a brain fart.
Admitting people to the bar?
I don't know. But how they were going about the exam. So they restructured a lot of it. And they obviously pre-pandemic had changed it to 2 days. But during the pandemic, they started sending out surveys around, because when you're a member of the state bar will send you questionnaires a lot of times about whether or not they should make any changes to the bar exam. And now they've implemented a program where you can, after you graduate, for certain people, you can then go and practice and be in an apprenticeship underneath an attorney, and you can gain you can practice during the time in between the time that you graduated and you're getting ready to take the bar.
Right. So they're saying that, like, as long as you've graduated an accredited law school, in between the times that you take the bar exam, you could, if you meet certain criteria, practice under a licensed attorney who has already practiced and passed the bar exam and has met certain requirements. And you can sort of act as an attorney in the interim of passing the bar exam.
Why don't we do that?
Oh, because I missed it by 1.5 questions, the threshold to begin that.
Wait, what?
You have to have a 1390 on a past bar exam. And I missed that by 1.5 questions. So I've missed the threshold, which I've already thought about that.
That's tough.
It's really tough.
And it's like, is there any better way to end the podcast?
Other than like in depression? Not really.
You guys, everybody manifest all of your good, positive thoughts to Lauren. Sorry.
We have to also shout out Valter is upset. VALTER. Valter is upset. She's taking the bar exam right now. Literally everybody taking the bar exam, any exam or going through anything. Let's take 1 second to manifest success for everybody doing everything positive.
I agree with that.
1,000. Okay. I think we did it.
Manifested. And I'm sending all my positive vibes to you. By the time this episode drops, you will be less than 24 hours away from your exam.
I know.
We will know by Wednesday evening how it went. And we will probably touch base with you guys then. We might drop maybe like a spontaneous episode, midweek episode, because I will be out of the area next weekend and the following weekend. I have 2 memorials I have to attend, but you might get a chaotic podcast sketch, and there might be some guest stars, meaning my mom and dad.
Oh my God, I would love that. Let's make sure your dad's on board this time.
You guys, my dad is wild.
So wild.
Get a couple cocktails in him, get him chatting about the housewives.
Oh, buckle up, buddy. Buckle up. Okay.
Buckle up.
Love you guys. Thank you so much.
And we're wishing you the best of luck, Lauren.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.